We go to Washington State, that is.
Why?
A Democratic state rep says that banning transmentalism in athletics is the same as racial segregation.
Saying I'm a woman and then instantly hearing, no, you're not.
Hold up.
And uses her grandfather as an example.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
What?
Are you retarded?
I'm Jazz Berganzo on this. To quote the great Ron White, you can't fix stupid.
It's true.
Well, should you expect anything less?
Nope.
But that's what's next. What's up, everyone? Jazz Berganzo, what's next? Daily Dose, common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling good on this Saturday. Yes, this is the weekend edition. Well, hills that people like to die on. You know, some people, fight for causes that are worthy, racial discrimination, anti-racial discrimination, verbal and sexual abuse in the workplace. And then you have transmentalism in athletics. Yes, these libs continue to die on this hill over and over and over again to try to prove some ridiculous point that men can be women too, or women can be men too. Well, guess what? It's called reality, facts, biology, but yet you get people who still don't understand, who still haven't received the memo. We go to Washington State, where a Democratic rep says, hey, you know what? Banning transmentalism in athletics is the same as racial discrimination or segregation in the 60s, and uses her grandfather as an example. Yikes. But we're going to have fun with this one. And here we go. This comes out of Outkick. Washington Democrat compares trans mental athlete ban to racial segregation. Democrats are extremely committed to being on the 20 side of the 80-20 argument. As if there were any doubts. Washington State Democratic State Representative Christine Reeves ended them all in a House Education Committee education session on Thursday. Reeves spoke out in support of SB 5123, a bill that includes expanding protections for students covering gender expression and gender identity, diversity, equity, inclusion. Of course, it's all wrapped up in there. And in doing so, she demonstrated a spectacular run of incompetence, ignorance, and willful disregard for reality. Quote, I recall in a time of our country, history not long ago, where people like my grandfather were told that they could not participate in sporting activities because, wait for it, he was black, she said. I can recall in a time of our country's history, Madam Chair, where people like my grandfather, my great-grandfather, were not allowed to participate in processes and places in our society because of the color of their skin, because for people like years, for generations, had told society that black people were less than human, that black people were animals, that black people didn't have the brain capacity to compete with white Americans, and also black people can't operate computers. That's what I've been told. Except, of course, that is not remotely comparable to what's allow male transgender athletes to compete against women means. Every sane person can quite obviously understand the difference, which is why 80% of the country supports prohibiting males from competing against females. Yes, you don't allow dudes who like to feel pretty in women's sports. Boxing 2024. And of course, that is the wonderful Will Thomas. Democrats going down with the trans athlete ship. Incredibly, Reeves wasn't done there. Oh, no. She had more. She went on to claim that per Fox News, scientific research proving that male trans athletes have physical advantages over female is comparable to eugenics. Comparable to eugenics. Reeves said that in the past, researchers generated science to compel people to believe in an argument that my father, my grandfather, my grandmother, my great-grandparents were less than our society. We are repeating history, Madam Speaker. In this debate, it's very, very scary to me that we are making a lot of same arguments today about this subset population that my grandfather, grandmother, my grandparents are subject for years. Been told that they were less than. They're told that they deserve the same rights, that they didn't deserve the same rights as other people because of the color of their skin. It's clinical in reality denial. It's a clinic in reality denial, Trans mental athletes are not being considered less than or being told that they don't deserve the same rights as other people because of their color of their skin. Trans athletes like Will, and many other male athletes in women's sports are more than welcome to compete against their own biological sex. They are not females, therefore should not be grouped with females in athletic competitions. Comparing this to the horrors of the past racial discrimination is not only historically inaccurate, it's offensive. As a sane Republican representative pointed out, there are immutable physical advantages to trans athletes have over women. We've said that has been done over and over and over again. And protecting women, both in competitive fairness and risk of injury, is obviously the correct and moral thing to do. Moral right thing to do. Quote, this particular amendment is focused on athletic participation, and in one thing does not change the bone density, lung capacity, the ability that has male has over female, counted Representative Michael Keaton to Reeves. There's been too many stories already this year on females being hurt, females working their entire lives to accomplish a goal and able to be successful in something, dedicate a life to it, and then a male comes along and takes it away from them. While Reeves said that we are evolving to allow males to compete against females, Keaton quickly shot that down as a nonsensical argument. Quote, I don't view this as evolving, actually, he continued. I don't think this is disingenuous argument for me or my side to say that opinions that we're actually devolving from a time before Title IX, a time before women had rights in this country, a time before girls could actually go and compete in sports with other girls without having the risk of being hurt or having scholastic opportunities being robbed from them. We're going backwards in history, not forwards. That's correct. Denying biology, science, reality is going backwards. We know how the human body works, and we know that pretending otherwise is unjustifiable and potentially dangerous. That's what Democrats are apparently committed to doing, all the way to more election losses. My thoughts. Well said, though. But again, this is the hill that they continue to die on. You know, I don't believe in the 80-20 argument. I believe more so in like the 90-10. You still got to have that 10% of morons who actually believe that A, that we didn't land on the moon, B, that there was a lone gunman who shot JFK, and C, who believe that dudes who like to feel pretty are allowed to play with women in sports. Sad, pathetic, but true. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.